Welcome to another Parade HD video. Two great questions dominated the 37-year rule of Robert Gabriel Mugabe, who has died at age 95. One is the mystery of how a giant of Africa's liberation movement, an intellectual who preached racial reconciliation long before Nelson Mandela emerged from prison, could turn into a caricature of despotism. Another is what kind of future he could pass on to Zimbabwe, a beautiful yet benighted country that he ruled for almost all of the nearly 4 decades that have passed since it won independence from the British.
Saying goodbye was too painful for some. The body of Robert Mugabe, Zimbabwe's former leader, lies in state at Rufaro Stadium in the capital, Harare. This is where he was sworn in as Prime Minister at independence in 1980. Thousands came to pay their respects.
I, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Zimbabwe and observe the laws of Zimbabwe. So help me God.
Gabriel Mugabe was born on February 21st, 1924 in Kutama, Southern Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe. Mugabe's father went to work at a Jesuit mission in South Africa when Mugabe was just a boy and mysteriously never came home. Mugabe's mother, a teacher, was left to bring up young Mugabe and his 3 siblings on her own. As a child, Mugabe helped out by tending the family's cow and making money through odd jobs. Over the course of 9 years, he studied privately while teaching at a number of mission schools in Southern Rhodesia. Mugabe continued his education at the University of Fort Hare in South Africa, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in History and English in 1951. Though the son of a village carpenter, Mugabe was trained as a teacher in a Roman Catholic mission school. He was introduced to nationalist politics while he was a student at the University College of Fort Hare, South Africa, and between 1956 and 1960, he taught in Ghana. Prior moving to Ghana, Mugabe completed his economics degree in 1958. He also taught at St. Mary's Teachers Training College, where he met his first wife, Sarah Heffron, whom he could marry in 1961. In Ghana, Mugabe declared himself a Marxist, supporting the Ghanaians' government goal of providing equal educational opportunities to the formerly designated lower classes. Gabriel Mugabe returned to Rhodesia in 1960, and in 1963 he helped Reverend Ndabaningi's Sithole to form the Zimbabwe's African National Union (ZANU) as a breakaway from Joshua Nkomo's Zimbabwe African People's Union (ZAPU). In 1964, he was arrested for subversive speech and spent the next 10 years in prison. During that period, he acquired law degrees by correspondence courses. While still in prison, he led a coup in 1974, deposing Sithole as ZANU's leader. When his infant son died of malaria in Ghana in 1966, Mugabe was denied parole to attend the funeral. In 1974, Prime Minister Ian Smith allowed Mugabe to leave prison and go to a conference in Lusaka, Gambia, formerly Northern Rhodesia. Mugabe instead escaped back across the border of Southern Rhodesia, assembling a troop of Rhodesian guerrilla trainees along the way. The battles raged on throughout the 70s. He held 7 degrees, 3 earned behind bars as a political prisoner of then Rhodesia's white minority rulers. Later, he could boast of another qualification, a degree in violence. In 1979, after Smith had tried in vain to reach agreement with Mugabe, The British agreed to monitor the changeover to black majority rule, and the UN lifted sanctions. Mugabe became first prime minister from 1980 to 1987 of the reconstituted state of Zimbabwe, formerly Rhodesia. In the early 1980s, though insecure about his enemies, he established the notorious Fit Brigade, a military group that was trained by the North Koreans. Between 1983 and 1987, Mugabe deployed the brigade into Matabele land in the south of Zimbabwe. The brigade oversaw a campaign of beatings, arson, public executions and massacres, where at least over 20,000 people died. A series of massacres classified as genocide by the US-based Genocide Watch. As a prime minister, Mugabe formed a coalition government between his party, ZANU-PF, and Nkomo's party, ZAPU, and he abided by the new constitutions which guarantees substantial parliamentary representations for whites. In 1982, Mugabe ousted Nkomo from the coalition cabinet, and ethnic strife troubled the country. Hence, Zimbabwe's economy steadily declined and whites continued to emigrate in substantial numbers. On December 31, 1987, he became Zimbabwe's first executive president, effectively establishing one-party rule. In 1990, he was re-elected president in a multi-party election that was marked by intimidation and violence. By 1994, the economy of Zimbabwe had seen some growth in the farming, mining, and manufacturing industries. Mugabe additionally managed to build clinics and schools for the black population. Also, over the course of that time, Mugabe's wife, Sarah, passed away, freeing him to marry his mistress, Grace Marufu. A law passed in 2002 allowed Mugabe to pursue an aggressive program of confiscating white-owned farms. More than half of the country's white farmers were forced to relinquish their property. The government's lack of forethought in replacing the white farmers with experienced farm workers contributed to severe food shortages in the country. In 2003, Mugabe withdrew Zimbabwe from the Commonwealth, the 52-nation organization of Great Britain, and our former colonies. Human rights groups accused Mugabe's regime of using starvation as a tool for domestic support.
We are not Europeans. We have not asked for any inch of Europe or any square inch of that territory. So, Blair, keep your England and let me keep my Zimbabwe.
In 2007, the country had the highest rate of inflation in the world, as well as one of the highest rates of unemployment. Most Zimbabweans did not have adequate access to basic commodities such as food or fuel, and Mugabe's administration continued to be the subject of much international criticisms. On March 29, 2008, when he lost the presidential election to Morgan Tsvangirai, leader of the opposing Movement for Democratic Change, MDC, Mugabe refused to hand over presidential power. Violence erupted and MDC supporters were beaten, and over 85 persons were killed by Mugabe's supporters. After losing the 2008 election and refused to step down, Robert Mugabe had lost whatever credibility he had left in the international arena. His knighthood, which was given to him by Queen Elizabeth in 1994, was rescinded, and he was slapped with targeted sanctions that prevented him from going to many countries in Europe and the USA. In a 2009 interview with CNN, Mugabe insisted that the land reform was the best thing that could have ever happened to an African country.
Why?
Historically,
The people who've
they have a
been-
debt.
Contributing to farming, historically they have a debt to pay.
Yes, the land, they occupied the land illegally. They seized the land from our people.
Look.
And therefore, the process of reform, land reform, involved their having to hand over the land.
But
We agreed upon this with the British, by the way. What are you talking about? We are getting land from them, and that's all. They are not being hounded out of the country. Not at
They're
all.
being hounded off their land,
Not of their land.
It's not theirs.
Our land.
even though they bought it.
Rumors of his death were so frequent in Zimbabwe that he once bragged about besting Jesus Christ. On his 83rd birthday, he said, and I quote, "I have died many times. That's where I have beaten Christ. Christ died once and resurrected once. It is true that I was dead and I resurrected, as I always do." Mugabe's regime was brutal and repressive. Media's freedom was curtailed. The opposition party was harassed and beaten, and a controversial program that caused the demolition of illegal housing structures was implemented, rendering hundreds of thousands of Zimbabweans homeless. In 2010, he threatened to seize all Western-owned investment in Zimbabwe unless the sanctions on him and his loyalists were removed. US President Barack Obama extended sanctions on Mugabe and his inner circle for another year before leaving office. He declared education a basic human right and changed the constitution to recognize primary and secondary public education as free and compulsory, a policy that could reap dividends for decades to come. He preached unity, his aspiration for a non-racial society, and his belief in the rule of law and democracy. Though he was admittedly a master politician, many Zimbabweans were killed, tortured, and brutalized as he entrenched his insatiable grip on power. The unromantic part of his legacy cannot be ignored. Robert Mugabe resigned on November 21st, 2017 after succumbing to political and military pressure. Mugabe died on September 6, 2019 at Gleneagles Hospital in Singapore, where he was under observation for several months for an undisclosed illness. The late John Makumbe, a politics professor at the University of Zimbabwe, said he will be remembered as a villain. His legacy was destroyed by his staying, his violence, his imposing his own political aliens and rivals. The chameleon has his own color. When it's frightened, it takes on its original color and is ugly. He showed his true colors. His true colors is a killer. He killed his enemies.
As we fought for our own independence, our own culture, our own sovereignty to be masters of our own destiny. That's why we call ourselves free today. It is because the monster of imperialism was defeated by us.
And that wraps up this episode of Robert Mugabe's regime. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like the video. Do well to subscribe to this channel and share this video. I'll see you next week for a new one. Peace. I'm out.